To discuss President Trump's UN address, VOA's Margaret Besheer joins me live from the United Nations. Hello, Margaret.
Hi, Esther.
Hi. Somewhat of a conciliatory tone from the president there during his speech, but once again, he had very strong words for several nations, especially Iran.
Yes, I think he delivered warnings both to political and economic adversaries. He also spoke about the strength of the U.S. military, but he said that the U.S. doesn't want conflict with anyone, but at the same time, he will defend America's interests. So there was a variety of messages there. But he also said, in terms of Iran, he made the point that some of America's greatest enemies in the past are now some of its closest allies, and so that adversaries don't necessarily need to be forever. And if you look back in history, I mean, the United States was at war with Germany and Japan half a century ago, and now they're two of our closest allies. So things can change. And here in New York, while there were hopes this week that perhaps President Trump and Iranian President Hassan Rouhani might have some sort of an encounter on the sidelines of the General Assembly, those sort of faded after the September 14th attack on the Saudi oil facilities, for which the United States has blamed Iran, and Iran denies having conducted those attacks. But there's still some diplomatic efforts going on behind the scenes here. Last night, the French President Emmanuel Macron met with the Iranian leader. I believe Mr. Macron will meet with Mr. Trump later today or tomorrow. And there are reports that the German Chancellor, Angela Merkel, who is here in New York, will also have separate meetings with Trump and Rouhani. So perhaps they can be intermediaries. Those two countries are also parties to the Iran nuclear deal, and they very much want to see it stay alive.
Margaret, again, the president was very tough on his stance on immigration.
Yes, I think, it's an election period now in the United States. The campaigning for 2020 has begun. So there were messages in this speech to his domestic audience as well. And one of those was one of his pillars, which is on undocumented migration. And he said, we will protect the borders. And he made a clear message. I mean, he said, I'm speaking to those of you considering coming to the United States. Don't do it. And he said, we will not allow you in, and we will promptly send you back. So he was quite clear on that, and he thanked the Mexican president for sending 27,000 Mexican troops to the U.S.'s southern border to deter migrants from trying to cross into the U.S.
Margaret, excellent reporting. Our thanks to VOA U.N. correspondent Margaret Besheer.